Our next guest is one of the people who will feel a direct impact by those 25% tariffs if they come through on April 2nd. Jonathon Azzopardi is the CEO and president at Laval Limited. That's a parts and equipment and mould manufacturing business based in Windsor. He joins me from Kingsville, Ontario, about a 40-minute drive southeast of Windsor. Jonathon, your company was founded by your dad in 1975. You're now in charge. How are you feeling about Trump's announcement?
Now, during these good evening, Ian. Thanks for having me on the show. Your question is a valid question. We've worked within a free trade agreement since I've been in the business for the last 25 years. We have great relationships on both sides of the border. Half of my family's from that side of the border, so this feels more like an insult. I've told people it's almost like walking into a funeral. It feels like we're losing a family member, and it's quite insulting, actually, to hear what he says about us.
There's so much uncertainty right now created by Donald Trump. What's the best information you have or your best understanding of how these tariffs will affect your company?
Well, they have to understand that our economy down in Windsor, and I can't say just Windsor, probably most of Canada, has relied on a relationship with the United States. Our company exports probably 85% of what we make directly to the United States. And I can safely say about 100% of what we make will end up in the United States one way, shape, or form. So this is a big problem. This is not something to be taken lightly, and obviously nobody is. But I honestly have to say that this is probably one of the hardest negotiations I've had to deal with because we don't see the need for it.
And how are you and your employees preparing for April 2nd?
Well, we've been very busy. April 2nd seems like that impending doom day. So we have been getting everything ready as fast as possible, getting as much of it done as fast as we can to get it on that side of the border before the potential tariffs are going to be brought down on us on the 2nd. And we've been trying to prepare our clients, and we've been trying to prepare our employees that we may have to go into a recession mode, and a recession mode might be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you're in a recession mode because larger economic forces have put you there or COVID has put you there. But what's putting you here now is one man, the president, who keeps making statements that are, really honestly unclear to this point. You've talked about it, but let me ask you more directly. That must be really frustrating to know that this crisis has been created this way.
Yeah, and that's probably the hardest thing for us right now. The problem is that, the first time we renegotiated CUMSA, we were all on the same side. And we felt like we were, even though things felt tough and we had a gun to our head and it kind of felt like we were negotiating from our hands tied behind our back, we had the feeling like we were trying to negotiate a better situation for North America, and a good economy for the United States is good for Canada. We don't have that feeling when we're doing these negotiations. This seems like we're doing this for no good reason. And he gives these false accusations that it's fentanyl and it's Canadians, fleeing across the border, but it's not that. And that's what makes this really hard, is that we can't see the purpose in this tariff that he's creating, because we know it's not good for the United States and we know it's not good for Canada.
So many challenges for Canadians, including for government officials, to try to figure out how to respond to this. What's your advice to them?
Well, you're probably not going to like my response, but I'm going to say it anyway. Manufacturing has not had the luxury of supply management and protections like the dairy industry has, right? And I would say that if that's the pound of flesh we have to give, then that may be the pound of flesh. There are certain things that are restrictive to the United States in Canada, and you may have to give that up. And from being a manufacturer for all these years, I haven't had those luxuries. So if that's what Mr. Trump is going to hang his hat on, then that may be one of the things that we may have to give up. But I honestly think in the end, it'll be good for Canada because we're a manufacturing juggernaut. We make things, we export things, and we need the United States. So a strong U.S. economy is good for us, and we need that relationship.
All right. Well, I hope things work out for you as best they can, and hopefully we can check back with you, Jonathon. Thanks for speaking to us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on the show.